Hello everyone, welcome. In this tutorial, we are going to model this mini cute drone. I'm going to put a link in the description of the real designer of this drone. You can check it out. So today we are going to model this drone with the new Cinema 4D modeling tools, especially the new Z-Remesher. Other than that, when we are done with the modeling, we are going to take a quick look at render and material stuff. If you want more hard surface content, you can check my Gumroad and Patreon. So without further ado, let's start. Right off the bat, I will bring my image planes in. Let's go to the top view, Shift and V, back, and select the top one. Now I will go to the front view. I will do the same thing, and this time I will bring my front one in. Right view, this time I will select the side one. I will start with a capsule, add a capsule to the scene, and I'm gonna make it face forward +Z. Also, I will enable lines so we can see what we have. Now let's go to the front view. I'm gonna move my capsule a bit, something like here. Then top view, but image plane's rotation is not right, so Shift and V. This time I'm gonna rotate my image plane 90 degrees. Now let's come over to the capsule and change the height until we get a match. All right, now it's time to increase the segments. The numbers are not important, just get something smooth. Now I'm gonna check my front view one more time because I'm gonna scale it just a bit like that, 49 centimeters. Now I will add a cube. Let's go to the front view. I'm gonna scale this and put it right over here. Then I'm gonna hold down Control, drag this cube off over here, which will duplicate it. Perfect. Now let's group these. Or before doing that, let me make sure that this covers the whole capsule. Okay, now I will select them all, Alt and G. Now I will come over to my capsule, hold down Alt and add a bool and put that null under that bool. Perfect. That's not enough. We will need more details. So I will add another cube and scale it. Something like that will be enough. In order to get rounded edges, I need to enable fillet. I will go all the way up for the radius and give lots of subdivisions like 20 and move it right here. Then I believe the last one will be this part. Add another cube. Scale. Again, enable fillet. Go all the way up and give lots of subdivisions. Now I'm gonna put these under that null for the bool. Now it's time to add our new magical generator, Z-Remesher. Select Remesh and put the bool under the remesh. Alright, looking nice, but we can do it much better. Go to Remesher. Actually, before doing anything in the settings of the remesh, I will go back to my bool and enable create single mesh and see what's going to happen. Perfect. So basically, if you enable create single object, this boolean will act like a single object and Z-Remesher will see that boolean as a single object, which will give that perfect result. Now it's time to play with the Z-Remesher options. Let's come over to the remesh. First thing first, I will enable symmetric X because the object is identical on the sides. And this will also give you that single edge right in the middle, which we can use for symmetries later. Other than that, we can try to lower the mesh density. Right now it is at 100%. Let's make it 50%. Maybe let's try 40. 35. All right, 35 is looking great. I mean, we can try to go lower, but after a point, it will start to break. We should find a balance, and 35 is looking okay. Let's check it one more time. Everything is looking clean except the bottom part. I mean, it is looking great. There is no wrong over here, but I want the bottom part just like the top part, clean and sharp edges. But right now, this is really smooth and it is gonna create a problem when I want to add details on this part. So I will go back to my group, which I put these cubes, and I'm gonna find the cube I put at the bottom side. Let me turn off these. Okay, this one. So basically, I'm gonna make it editable. Let's turn these on and you can see the effects. So this one is editable, this cube is editable. I will select the polygon and delete it. This will give me that kind of a cut on the object. Now let's see what's going to happen if I enable remesh. Perfect. This is exactly what we want, but we will just need some small adjustments. Before making this remesh editable, I'm gonna hold down Control, drag this capsule off, which will duplicate it. I'm gonna use that for projection later. So for the moment, I'm gonna hide it and make the remesh editable. Hit C. I'll delete that. It looks like this part is slightly messed up. Let's try to clean that. Polygon pen tool. Connect these points, then hold down Control. Click on these edges for this part. We are not gonna use the inside, so we can double click on these edges, make a fill selection, and delete these. And okay, for this part we are not gonna need it. Just select and delete them. For here, let's double click again, hold down Control, extrude one more time. Let me select these polygons. Then I will split them. Let's make it solo. Now I will use new close polygon hole tool. Let's select it and select the grid option. Otherwise, these are all the old ones. We need the grid one. And let's see what we are going to get. Okay. I mean, here the polygon is quad, but something is off. This is not much ideal. So let's try to make it easier for close polygon hole tool to work better. To do that, I will bridge these edges and give some segments, like let's say 3, and right click, grab close polygon hole one more time, and as you can see, this is going to give me a perfect result. But it is not over yet. I will select this part only, then delete. Actually, I will just delete this on solo and hold down Shift. I will add a shrink wrap deformer, and in the target object tab, I'm gonna put my first capsule. Perfect. Now I will right click on my mesh, connect objects, and delete. This is gonna basically apply this shrink wrap deformer to my object. Now let's solo it one more time. I will select outline selection, hold down Control, extrude these 2 times so that I can get that edge loop as a supporting edge. Now let's see what we have. I'm gonna group these, put the subdivision surface over the top, and let's try to add supporting edges to this one, like here. I'm gonna work on the bottom part later, and get this one. Perfect. Now let's work on the bottom parts. Again, let's use close polygon hole tool and see what we are gonna get. All right, not bad, but not ideal. We want a better edge flow, just like the top part. So as I did before, let's bridge these first. Give some segments. Then close polygon hole tool. Perfect. Same here. Now we have a perfect mesh. I'm gonna add one supporting edge over here. And this is looking flawless. Now let's work on the sides, but before doing that, let me turn off that work plane. It might be a little annoying. Okay, for this, I will make a loop selection and split these polygons, and let's solo it. As I did before, I want to close that hole. So first, let me bridge these edges, then loop cut, increase that to, let's say, 3, right click, close polygon hole tool. Now we will have a triangle, which means that we need to increase these edges. I mean, let's make it something higher than 3, like 4. I'm going to try it one more time with the close polygon hole tool, and it worked perfect. And the other side as well. And it's loop cuts, then invert selection. No, loop selection, field selection, make any sets. Perfect. Of course, we want this to be on the other side. So hold down Alt, it is symmetry, and here we go. Now let's try to model the arms and blades. But before jumping into that, let me select, yes, this one. And I'm gonna make these edges perfectly flat. And I'm gonna zero these edges out. Make sure that you are in the vert coordinates and set the Z position of these edges to 0 so that I can make a selection, delete these, and use another symmetry. So let's go to the symmetry, hold down Alt and add another symmetry. This time I will change the mirror plane. Now it should work perfectly. I mean, we have some gaps, but when I enable subdivision surface, it's not going to be visible. Now it's going to be much easier for us to model these 4 separate arms. Like if I extrude these, I'm going to get 4 of these. Before extruding though, let's go to the side right view and make these edges perfectly flat, but let me make sure that we are in the vert coordinates. Right click on one of the axes, set it to world, hold down shift, scale to 0. Then I believe, yes, these ones should be also flat. And I'm gonna move them over here. Maybe we can move that point over here. Then let's make these edges also perfectly flat. Same on these. Now we are ready to extrude these edges. Hold down Control and move them over here. I will slide that edge slide over here and this one over here to kind of get evenly spaced polygons. Now let's add a cylinder. Let me see where we are working. Yes, this one. So that cylinder should be here. I will scale it. Now front view, another scale. Okay, now let's enable wireframes because we need to make some adjustments on that cylinder. Let's higher that rotation segments to something like that, so this and these could be merged better. Like I can merge this one to this one, and this one to this one, this one to this one. Let's make the cylinder editable. And since this is gonna be connected with this and this is gonna be connected with this one, I will need another edge loop over here, just like the top part. Now it is time to merge these. Select the mesh, hold down Alt, add a bool, and put the cylinder inside of the bool, but we are not gonna subtract, we are gonna union them. Perfect. Now click create single object, hit C on the keyboard. Now it's time to connect the points, and I'm gonna do that with polygon pen tool. Let's grab polygon pen tool. Let's start from here. Looks like these are 2. I'm gonna merge these. Same here. Connect, connect. Okay, I will need a supporting edge, of course, over here. and it's looking perfect. And if you get something like that, like a sharp shading difference, this is because the normals are not aligned, as you can see. So select them all and say reverse normals. Sorry, align normals. Now I'm gonna reverse them. That should fix that. Now let's see what we need to do, like scaling these. Same here. Now supporting edges over here and here, maybe here. Then I'm gonna hit this loop cut, select these polygons, hold down control. I'm gonna extrude them 3 times to get these edges as supporting edges. Maybe from final inset. Perfect. Same on here. Or maybe let's do something different like that. I'm gonna hit one loop cut over here. And this is looking perfect. Maybe an extra loop cut here. As you can see, these are very long and empty polygons. Let's fill here. I'm going to do that with loop cuts. Hold down shift, add loop cuts, then increase the number of cuts to like 10 maybe. Let's make this part slightly tighter by selecting these edges. Otherwise, if you want to add these with a loop cut, it's not gonna make it because of these poles. So we need to select these edges, hold down shift, select these, right click, slide, hold down control, slide just a bit, and that should be enough. Now let's check the blades. I will select these, and as usual, I will split them, move them up. We should select the splitted part, move these up. Then let's see from the top view, I need to scale them just a bit. Then we will need thickness, of course, and I'm gonna do that with the extrude tool. Grab that, extrude to over here, then scale them. I believe this part should be slightly larger, like that. Now let's see. It looks like we need to extrude one of these polygons, but if I do it just like that, I am not gonna get that angle of the blades. So let's select these and rotate them just like that. If you watch that edge, you are gonna see that what I am talking about. If I select that polygon, hold down control and extrude, looks like that edge should be over here and should scale to 0. Maybe this one as well. Now let's check the other side. I believe you should select that one, hold down control again, extrude, move this over here and scale it to 0. Same here. Now we will need an extra edge loop in the middle so that we can grab this and move it over here. Actually, we can do this simultaneously by selecting both and scaling them on the x-axis. Perfect. Now let's hit Q to enable subdivision surface. Obviously, we are going to need supporting edges like over here and here. Then here and here. For these edges, again, if I try to add a loop cut with loop cut tool, it's gonna stop at poles and triangles. So in order to make smoothing edges, I should select these, hold down shift, Double click until you select all of these. Now again, I will use slide tool, hold down control, hit Q, perfect. Now I'm gonna do the same process on the other side. Hold down control, extrude, perfect. Now I need to hit these loop cuts. We can play with the Phong angle of the object to get a better surface. I mean smoother surface. Okay, this is looking great. So in order to see these blades on the other side, I need to group these, Alt down Alt and Alt and G. Now let's check the bottom part because I want to add more details to that part. Find the mesh. Switch to polygon mode. First, let's create some panel loops like insetting these polygons over here. Then I'm going to do that one more time. Then make a loop selection, select this new polygon loop, hold down control, move these twice, hit Q. It's looking great, but it's not over. I want a circular shape on these polygons. So I'm gonna select these. I'm gonna make an inset. Then I'm gonna select fit circle tool, which is any one, and it works perfect. Okay, let's place it over here. Then I'm gonna make another inset. Actually, after that point, we should stop insetting these polygons. Otherwise, you can see it over here. They are gonna intersect. So in this kind of situations, I like to continue with scale tool, hold down control and scale the polygons. But first let me unlock the Z. Nice. Then I'm gonna do that one more time. This time I will move them on the y-axis. Hold down control, extrude them one more time. Then we are okay to delete these polygons. I will double click on these edges, hold down control, slide these edges, polygon mode, select these with loop selection, hold down control, again, extrude them twice. One is for these edges and the second extrusion will be the end. Now hit Q and see what's going on. Okay, looking perfect. Again, we can play with this Phong angle to smooth some of the parts. Let's do something similar on the top parts. I mean, I'm talking about the panel loops or panel cuts. So I'll select these edges, hold down control, slide them, then I will do that again, then hold down control, extrude them twice, hit Q, and here you go, looking perfect. Now it is time to model the parts where we cannot see from the image planes. For example, this part. I will need to put something on over here, something spherical. So let's add a sphere, change it to hexahedron, scale it, and let's position it right here. Scale it more. Move it up here. Then we can make this editable, or before doing that, let's lower that count to like 12. We don't need much for this piece. Make it editable. Select the center edges, fill selection, delete. Then I'm gonna delete these, but I will set my axis y-axis to 100%. Something like that should be enough. Let's see what we are going to get if I subdivide this. All right, not bad. If you want this to be perfect, let me do this from scratch. Add a sphere, and let's solo that. Enable wireframes. I will change it to hexahedron again. Set it to 12 segments. Then create a duplicate of this. This time change it to standard and give lots of segments and hide it. I will use this for projection. Now hold down shift, select the first sphere, add a shrink wrap deformer, put the high poly sphere in the target object, then select the sphere one more time, hold down shift, add a smoothing deformer. Now if I turn on and off these, we are going to see the effect. After these deformers, we are going to get more uniform shape and it's more smooth. Now I'm going to make this editable. Actually, I need to right click, say connect objects and delete, which apply the deformers. We can delete that. Unhide and reposition this again over here. Scale. I'm going to delete that half. Scale them. Okay, this should give us a more smoother result, as you can see. Now let's try to make some camera lenses. So I will bring a cylinder in, make it face forward, and I'm gonna move it over here. Let's do that in the front view. So this one should be somewhere around here. Let's solo that. Make it editable. Select this. First, I will make init set, then another one. This time I'm gonna move this on the Z. Another extrude. Then I will make another inset. Then hold down Control, extrude. Another extrude. This time I want to scale these, so I should reset my y-axis. Make something like that. Hold down Control. Extrude these 2 times. Now let's put that under a separate subdivision surface. And I will start to add my supporting edges like here, here, on these parts. Okay, looking great. I will unhide and you remember this part, this object. I will hit Ctrl C and V. I'm gonna select these 3 and solo them because I want to rotate this one 90 degrees. I will enable snap and move it over here. Turn off snap. Yeah, something like that should be enough. I'm gonna group these 2, Alt G. We can delete that subdivision surface and put it under our main subdivision surface group. While we are here, let's rename that to Drone YouTube. And I will hide this one and rename that to Front Glass. These are the blades, and these should be the arms, and this one the main mesh. So let's duplicate it. Actually, before doing that, let me make this part slightly shorter. Like we don't need to have these extra points. Now it is good to duplicate this. Hold down Control, drag this off. This time maybe we can scale it. Great, now I will go back to my main mesh, select these edges and move them over here. Let's follow this. I want to close that gap because it may be seen in the render, just to make sure. this time, since this is not going to be much visible, I'm okay with these polygons. I will make a loop and fill selection so that I can make an inset and any other loop cut over here. Perfect. By the way, I will check my Phong tag for the main mesh, and if you watch here, if I increase my Phong angle, it's going to disappear. Perfect, let's unhide the glass. Now we are good to render. By the way, I'm not gonna unwrap my object because I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I will not need any texturing. I will be just okay with the material projections. I will quickly organize my object manager, especially these blades. Let's make this editable. Put these over here, then delete these. And these are the lenses. The bottom lens. Okay, arms, nice. Then blades. It is good to have some randomness, so I'm gonna switch to polygon mode and rotate them slightly to get some randomness. Okay, perfect. Now the fun part begins. Let's try to render this. First, I will change my render to Octane renderer. I will switch back to standard mode. We are done with the modeling. Let's go to Octane, Live Viewer window. I will change direct lighting to pet tracing and lower some of these values down. Something like that. Then hit render, lock the view. I will bring an HDRI. Click here, and I'm gonna select one of my favorites HDRIs. Okay, I will bring another HDRI in, but this time I will use this just for the background. Set its type to visible environment and set it to color. And I'm gonna select the color with the picker tool. All right, now let's create a material. Materials, create a glossy material. It should be over here. In this one, I want to change its color to something like red or kind of pink. And I will assign that to main mesh. Then, of course, arms and blades. It is good to have some roughness in the material. So let's give something like 0.1. As you can see, the background and shadow don't match perfectly. So I will kind of cheat that. Like if I create a camera first, let's make it 75. And right click on the camera. So for the Octane tags, and I will add Octane camera tag, go to camera imager, and I'm gonna select a white point from the background. I mean, this is gonna change the colors of your materials, of course, but for the shadows, these give a better result, at least for me. Maybe we can lower that saturation of the white point. Then we can increase the exposure and highlight compression just a bit. Then, of course, depth of fields, like 10 centimeters for aperture, and pick a focus point. Okay, looking great. By the way, let me change my output to full HD. Render one more time. Okay, looking great. Now let's work on these lenses. So first, let's create another material, duplicate this one. Just hold down Control, drag this off. It's going to duplicate it. For the color, I want something black, maybe not fully, but closer to black. And I'm gonna assign these to lenses. We are not gonna see it, so let's hide the glass. Okay, looking nice. Then another material. This time I will use specular material. And I'm gonna assign this to this one. So I should turn off subdivision surface. Select the object, polygon mode. No, actually this is separate one. So yes, I will select these both spheres and right click and say apply. Q. Okay, much better. Now I want to select my main mesh polygon mode and select the polygons inside. Just make a loop selection, then a fill selection. Now I'm gonna right click on this black material and say apply. That's all. Now I will unhide the glass in the front and assign that glass material on that. Perfect. Let's turn this upside down to check what's going on the bottom part. Let's see what's going to happen if I apply this glass material to that. Alright guys, that was it. I hope you learned something new. I believe I might have gotten into a role, so if you have any questions, just ask them in the comments. I read them all, so I hope you see you in the next ones. Take care. See you.